Hey friends, it's Laura with Laura B Floss Tube. Welcome or welcome back. I'm so glad you joined me today. We are going to be going on an adventure today. Oh my goodness, this is a video that's been a long time coming. I've had several of you ask me about putting the large rickrack in the binding on a quilt. So that's what I'm doing today. I have the beautiful Mercantile sampler quilt. Let me put some of this stuff down. Thanks. I have my beautiful Mercantile sampler quilt ready to put the binding on. I quilted it this past week at my brother's and it turned out so beautifully. I'm so excited about how this quilt looks. There's actually several things I got to do to this quilt yet to finish it up. So I need to put a sleeve on the back, I need to do my rickrack trim, and I also need to do the binding, but not in that order. We're going to do our rickrack first, and then we're going to do our binding and sleeve kind of together. So this video, I'm just going to be focusing on the rickrack. If you're interested in the sleeve or the binding, then check out the accompanying video that goes with this, and we'll continue going on with finishing our Mercantile sampler. Another thing I want to talk about briefly is setup for when I'm finishing my quilts. I also do this sometimes when I'm doing a quilt top assembly with the big rows. I had a few of you ask me how I do my setup for getting those big rows together like we did on the Dutch chocolate quilt. And so this is what works for me. Obviously, if you have a better setup, then you should stick to it. But what I do, my main sewing table is about 52 inches square. Which really isn't that much space when you take into account the sewing machine, the extension table, and if you're working with an 88-inch quilt top, then that's a lot of fabric to be moving around in a small space. There's a lot of weight that's coming onto your machine that you need to be able to manage somehow. So what I do, and this is what works for me, but if you have a better setup, please share in the comments below. And you do you. You do what works best for you. This is what's working for me. I do have my Juki DX7 on my sewing table. It does have an extension table on it, which kind of helps if I'm assembling a row to take some of that weight off of the needle and off of the machine. But when the rows start getting bigger and bigger, and definitely after it's quilted, I gotta do something else to extend my space. So what I have done is I just set up my ironing board and I have it pretty level with the top of my table. I also have my rolling cart over here to the side, and this kind of gives me a little nest over here with my sewing machine and all of this fabric and the quilt. So I can help manage the weight that's going through my machine and the weight that's on my shoulders. Let's be honest, these get to be a lot once you have a finished or a quilted quilt top. When you're trying to finish it, that's a lot of weight to put on your machine and on yourself. So you got to figure out a way to help alleviate some of that weight off of you. And what I've done is I just set up my ironing board and I set up a rolling cart beside my table, and that just gives the quilt a little more space. I will fold it over and stuff too as I'm going through, and it works for me. So that's what I do. So if you've had that question or you've been wondering how you could possibly set up your space, especially if it's smaller like mine, then that's one thing that you may want to consider. All right, so let's talk rickrack and binding. These are my binding strips, and I have them all sewn end to end. There's 9 width of fabric strips here. And you'll notice I just threw that on the floor beside me. I take the tail and I just kind of run it around one of the legs of my extension table on my Juki, and it's just hanging out. I don't need it yet, but I don't want to go searching for the tail later. So that's just kind of what I do. As far as the rickrack, the first step that you want to do with your quilt top is make sure you have cut all of your edges straight off. And I've done all of that with my rotary cutter before the video today. And so the next thing that I'm going to do is take my rickrack and start applying it to the edges. Now, I do not go around the entire quilt top. I will go down one side and cut it and then turn and then go again. And that way all of my unfinished ends are in a corner where binding will cover, and then all of my pretty little rickrack will be popping out, and it's just kind of, it's a straight. There's no miters with the rickrack. At least that's how I do it. And I'm sure there's more than one way to do the rickrack trim too, and it kind of depends on the width of your rickrack. I'm using some pretty big rickrack this time. It is 1.5 inches wide. The first thing I'm going to do is just cut this end straight. That way this will go on the corner of my quilt, and I'm just going to sew it all the way down the length of the quilt. Now the other thing that I'm going to do for this is I'm going to adjust it, because when I put this on the edge of my quilt, the binding is probably not going to cover all of that, and I don't want those little gaps in there. So I'm actually going to move this over just a smidge, so it's going to hang off the edge of my quilt, and then I'll trim that off before I finish the binding. First things first though, is we got to get our rickrack trim sewn onto the edge of the quilt. All right, gang, you are going to have to cut me a little slack today, because like I said, this is a big quilt and I've got to get all the way around it. And I cannot put the camera on the other side because that's where my quilt is laying. You would be shaking like crazy. So you're gonna have to cut me a little slack on this video, and just know that this is not the easiest of things to do. All right, so I'm just going to start right here at the corner of the quilt, and like I said, I'm going to just move it over off of the quilt edge, probably around 1/4 inch. And I am sewing with a teal thread. I would not be doing that normally, but that's where we're at. That way you can kind of see. And I'm just going to sew basically 1/4 inch from the edge of the quilt all along this edge. All right, so I'm at the corner. I'm just going to I just cut that off, and I'm just going to turn the quilt and go down the next side. I'm going to put that pretty close to the edge of the quilt, and all of that will be in the binding. These raw edges will be in that binding on the corner. So, you know, and if you wanted to, you could slip this under probably, and it would probably still be fine. I've just always just kind of overlapped it on top. One thing I do want to point out, I do have a universal needle in my machine right now. I'm not using the Microtex just because I want a thicker needle, so I am using one of the Schmetz universal needles. All right, just because I know that I've had some of you ask me how I wrangle these through the machine, I'm going to move the camera over off to the side so you can kind of get a better idea of how I'm moving it and positioning the quilt as I go along, since you've seen probably enough of the rickrack application. I'm going to start working on the third side for this quilt. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn the entire quilt and get some of this weight on my ironing board over here and get the rest of that side kind of folded and bunched up into my lap. So the majority of the weight of the quilt can just hang out over here on the ironing board, and the side that I'm working with is, like I said, it's kind of folded and bunched up in my lap. So that's going to get a lot of the machine, a lot of the weight off of the machine. And then just like I did the other sides, I am going to line that up at the corner. Do a little back stitch to get started, and then start working my way down the edge of the quilt. Now, anytime I feel like the quilt is pulling, I will just kind of move it. And since I have that additional extension here because of the ironing board, it just makes it easier just to kind of pull and flop. It's a very technical term, pulling and flopping. All right, a couple more things to do before we have this rickrack ready and we can start putting our binding on. One thing I wanted to mention, which I am sure that you could have figured out on your own, is that obviously when you're calculating the amount of rickrack you need, you'll need to take the full length, the full perimeter length of your quilt. So this one is, I think, 88 square, so I'm just gonna say it's 90, so I need 360, which means that, you know, that's like 10 yards of rickrack. And as far as width, like I said, I'm using a really wide rickrack on this one because that's the look that I was going for. So I obviously had to let that hang off the edge. Now, I don't want to put that into my binding because I don't want that bump, and I don't want to try to fold it over, and I don't want to try to fold it behind the quilt either. So I'm going to take my rotary cutter and just cut all of that extra off, all the sides, before I start putting my binding on this quilt. If you're using a narrower rickrack, you probably won't have to do that. You will probably be able to get away with just putting it right on the edge, or maybe even a little in from the edge. Just kind of think about where your binding strips are going to fold over and overlap on the front of your quilt, because you obviously want your rickrack to show. Now, after I get my binding on and the sleeves and all of that good stuff, the last thing that I will probably do is I'm going to switch my thread to white, and I'm going to run another seam up and down all the way around on this entire perimeter of the quilt on this rickrack, because when I go to wash this someday, I don't want this rickrack flipping up, and I don't want to have to press it down every single time. I want to make sure that it's always nice and flat with the quilt. So I will run a little stitch line right around on the inside perimeter of the rickrack all the way around the quilt. Now that's an extra step, and I'm sure a lot of people don't do that. I just found that I have a couple of quilts I put this jumbo rickrack on, and I don't like how the rickrack flips up when I wash it. So I'm going to do that little extra step and do the stitching line around on the inside of the rickrack. Like I said, I have a lot of trimming to do. I'm basically going to trim off the excess rickrack off the side of my quilt. That's going to take me a little bit, so I'm going to show a little bit of that, and then we'll do the wrap up on the rickrack application, and we'll move on to sleeve and binding. As I mentioned in the beginning, I've already trimmed this quilt down, so this should be pretty quick and easy. I'll just have to take my rotary cutter, or you can take your scissors if you're not comfortable using your rotary cutter, and just trim that excess rickrack off of the outside of the quilt. Have my binding all the way around the edge of the front of my quilt. It's all sewn down. My sleeves, I will hand sew those down at a later date. But the last thing I want to do before I leave the sewing machine today is see how this rickrack trim, it doesn't really stay put, and I don't want that flipping up. So I'm going to put this back under the needle and run a stitch right along the edge of this rickrack all the way around the quilt. So I guess what I would say is, if you like the look of rickrack and you are willing to put in the extra effort, then it definitely does give a nice, fun little finish for your quilts. But just understand that you're probably going to be going around 1 or 2 extra times around your quilt top. So, you know, I don't do this for very many quilts. It has to be a pretty special quilt for me to say, yes, I'm in on applying the rickrack trim. And I mean, maybe you don't mind if it flips up, so that would be one time around the quilt that you don't have to worry about. This one, you know, there's not that much contrast here because my border fabric was a white background, or kind of a creamy white background, so you don't really see it that much. But before we wrap up today's video, I will make sure that I throw the quilt out on the floor so you can see what the finished quilt top looks like. And then at a later date, I will have some photos on Instagram that you can look at as well. So, like I said, I'm going to do this one last little trip around the quilt, and then we will wrap up today's video. To sew this rickrack trim down, I'm going to be using my clear foot. It's not a piecing foot, it's just the clear foot that comes with the machine. There is like a little triangle here in the middle that you can see. I like to use that a lot when I'm doing applique for the zigzag, but it's just a nice clear wide foot for my machine, and that's what I'm going to be using to sew around the edge of all of this rickrack. I am just using a straight stitch for this. I'm not going to be using a zigzag or anything like that, just to make sure that that's clear. I will just continue around the rest of this quilt, and then I will throw it out so you can see it. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining me again, for spending some of your time with me. I hope you're finding joy in your creating and crafting and everything that you do. Stay safe and healthy, and until next time, happy stitching.